Hey guys, it's Ifeyinwa and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the final Invisalign update. I know, I still can't believe that we're here. Finally, after 2 years. I started my treatment back in January 2021 and I got my retainers fitted in January 2023. So here we are 2 years later. I'm officially done with Invisalign. So I'm here for my final Invisalign update. If you want to catch up on my entire journey, I will link my Invisalign playlist for you. I highly recommend that you start there, but I'll do my best to make sure that you're brought up to date in case you obviously don't want to go through all 5 videos that I've made prior. So if this is your first time here, my name is Ifeyinwa. I make videos all about fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. If at any point you're feeling the vibe, I would love it if you consider subscribing. Let's jump right into today's video. So I'm going to put up a before of what my teeth looked like. So this is the very first video that I ever filmed way back in January of 2021. And this is what my teeth look like today. We're finally done. The first thing I thought that I would do is give you guys a little bit of background information. So I started my treatment back in January of 2021, like I said. So if you want to know why my treatment took as long as it took, I recommend that you go and watch this video because all in all, my treatment was not 2 years. There were so many factors as to why it took so much longer. But essentially, ever since that last video that I made, I should have gone back in like 6 weeks after. I didn't. I ended up needing a root canal, a filling. Like I had so much general dentistry work that needed to be done, which was very expensive. I did not want to have to go and think about Invisalign treatment on top of that. It was just not convenient for me. So I ended up wearing my very last set of refinement trays pretty much for 6 months, which is just crazy. But the good thing is I kept wearing the trays. So my teeth were where they needed to be. I just hadn't made time to obviously go out and see my dentist in all those months because I had a lot of general dentistry work. I was traveling over summer. I just had other things that were on the forefront of my mind, to be very honest with you. So I went in to see my dentist in January. So from the very, very beginning, if you watch my first ever Invisalign update video, you will be able to hear Dr. Tinkler talking about my treatment plan. He recommended that I get a fixed retainer from the very beginning. With the way my front 2 teeth were, he said that I would need a fixed retainer because otherwise they would just spring apart. And he's so right. Like towards the end of my treatment, let me not lie, literally for the last like year, I only have been wearing my Invisalign trays at night. And during the day, I can literally see my gap like widening. So I already knew that if I didn't have a fixed retainer, like that would just be happening with my teeth like forever, and I just didn't want that to happen. So even when I go in to see Dr. Tinkler, he can actually move my front 2 teeth. So what the fixed retainer does is it just bonds those 2 teeth together to prevent them from going like that. He basically looked at my teeth. He had enough space to fit in the wire behind the back of my teeth. So he said, I can do this now if you're ready. And I was like, yes, let's finish this. So he fit the wire at the back of my teeth. I actually asked him if I could record it, but he told me that the angle just wouldn't work. There's no way that I'd be able to capture anything. It's a really small wire and they basically just glue it to the back of your teeth. That's the only way I can describe it. The whole process took maybe 5 minutes. I didn't need to be numbed. I wasn't in any pain. After he fit the wire, he asked me if I could feel it. I could a little bit, so he shaved it down. And once that whole process was over, he took my Invisalign trays and carved out a little bit of the plastic so that my Invisalign trays would be able to go over my wire. And then he basically said, you know, if you have any issues, let me know, but you're pretty much done. When you first get that fixed retainer, it feels so weird. Like I was playing with it literally for like the first 3 days. And now I don't really think about it. If I think about it, I can still like, you know, feel it, but it's so thin. It's almost kind of like a flat wire. I expected it to feel more round. When I first would eat on it, I would almost bite it, if that makes sense. But now my teeth have almost adjusted to work around it. It's so weird, like you get used to things so quickly. Now I really don't think about it. I'm only thinking about it now because I'm talking to you. But it's so comforting to know that even if I like lose a retainer or if I forget to take it on holiday or something, I don't have to worry about, especially my front 2 teeth moving which was essentially the main reason why I got Invisalign. It's just good that I have that extra level of security. I know not everyone's going to need a fixed retainer, but I knew that I would need one. I think at one point he was even considering putting it over my front 4 teeth, but I'm happy that we were able to get away with just having it over the front 2 teeth. After that, the nurse who was helping him with my whole appointment, she did the whole scan. I didn't bother recording that because I've done so many scan videos. So she scanned my teeth for my retainers. I went to the front desk, paid for my retainers, and they shipped them to me the next week. So these are what my retainers look like. I will have to come and do a close-up. They basically just look exactly like your Invisalign trays. They're just a little bit thicker. The first time I put these over my teeth, they felt bulky. That's the only way I can describe it. The regular Invisalign trays are a lot softer, a lot thinner. These are a lot thicker and harder. But after the first night, I was perfectly used to it, and now it's absolutely fine. So I got 3 sets of these, and hopefully I don't lose them because they are quite expensive. They're £295 at the moment for 3. But essentially, if I ever do end up losing them, all I need to do is call up Clear Braces Direct and reorder them. Dr. Tinkler also recommended this little bath things that you can use to clean your retainers. So I'll actually link what he recommended down in my description box because I've ordered it, but it hasn't come yet. But essentially, it's just the official Invisalign cleaning crystals, and then there's like a separate bath that you can put your retainers in and clean your retainers once a week. Obviously, because I'm going to be wearing these a lot longer than like my trays, where you kind of switch out your trays every week. In theory, it's more important, I guess, to have a way to effectively clean these. The last set of trays that I was wearing were so yellow and so mangy, though I don't want that to happen to my retainers whatsoever. So I ordered that, and hopefully that should arrive in a couple of days. So that's pretty much my Invisalign update. Now you're brought up to speed, you know where we are now. I did go over on Instagram and ask if you guys had any questions for me, so I'm going to go through those now. I won't mention names, but the first person wanted to know the breakdown of cost. I got my braces at Clear Braces Direct. I worked specifically with Dr. Graham Tinkler. It was not sponsored. I paid for my treatment by myself. He recommended that I go for the Invisalign Lite, which, if I remember, I believe is up to 14 aligners that you can get with Invisalign Lite. The way Clear Braces Direct structures their payments is that you basically pay for your treatment, and then if you require refinements, you pay £99 for each scan thereafter for your refinement trays. At the end of your treatment, you pay separately for your retainers. So at the time, I was quoted £1,995 for my treatment, and I actually paid that up front. When I went on the website today, I noticed that Invisalign Lite is now $2,650. So from that perspective, obviously everything's gone up now, and we're talking about over 2 years. Still though, I still think that Clear Braces Direct is probably one of the most affordable Invisalign providers that at least I could find at the time. They use teledentistry, at least they did when I did my treatment. So they sent me all my aligners up front. You scan your teeth every single week with this like cool equipment thing that they send over to you. They monitor the progress of your teeth and tell you when to switch out your trays, etc., etc. So I came to the end of my treatment 14 trays after. I don't remember exact timelines anymore. I had to go for my first refinement because we weren't really happy with where my teeth were. I ended up needing 3 refinements. However, I was only charged for 2, so my dentist ended up doing 1 for me for free. So that brings my total cost to about £2,200 for my treatment. The only thing I paid for after that was my retainer. So I was looking at my original quotation, and originally I was quoted £175 for retainers, but by the time it came to actually pay for my retainers, it was no longer that price. It was $295. So I paid $1,995, let's call it £2,000 for my treatment, another £200 for refinements, and then I paid £300 for my retainer. So all in all, £2,500 for my Invisalign treatment. Someone else wanted to know if it was painful or comfortable. I don't remember having pain. The worst of it was probably when I first started wearing trays. I think I remember in the very beginning when my teeth was moving the most. I still don't remember pain. Then again, I think you should watch one of my earlier videos because I probably have like forgotten about it by now. But towards the end of my treatment, there was absolutely no pain. If anything, my teeth have pretty much been where they need to be for well over a year. Like I said, the main reason why my treatment's taken this long was mainly because of logistics and me just being a bad patient. I know some people have it really bad. I've actually spoken to a few people that have said they've needed to take like really strong pain medication. I know I definitely didn't. I think the most I ever needed to take was paracetamol, if that. So I got really lucky. I don't remember pain. I know if it was really bad, I would actually remember it. How long did you wear your trays for? All in all, I've been wearing Invisalign trays for 2 years, but please don't let that scare you. In terms of actual number of trays, that's probably a better way to mention it. Let's just say all my refinements were 30 trays, okay? And then my initial set was 14, so 44. And then I was typically changing my trays once a week, to be honest. So in total, I would say my treatment definitely would have taken less than a year if like everything went according to plan. How do I feel about how my smile has changed? You know what's so funny? In the very beginning when I was doing this, I felt so torn about closing my gap because I've had a gap forever. But now when I look at old pictures of myself, I just can't believe that I was concerned about closing my gap. You know what I mean? Like, obviously this is a matter of personal preference and it's very subjective, but I 100% feel like my smile looks better now that my gap is closed. I was worried that I wouldn't feel like myself after I had changed my smile, which thinking about it now just feels really dramatic. I don't know, I think I made it out to be a bigger thing in my head than it actually was. It's just interesting, like when I look back at pictures of my old smile, I'm just like, I can't believe like my teeth look like that and they've moved so dramatically and it's made such a big difference to my facial structure, and it's just crazy to think that I was hesitant to do it. I think this is a very subjective thing, but I wanted to speak to that because that was something that I felt really worried about. I think a part of me knows that if I wake up tomorrow and I really want my gap back, I could just have my fixed retainer removed and my teeth will naturally go back to where they were anyway. But I just can't see that happening. Like even looking in the monitor now, I just think, maybe it's me, but I think I look better with my new smile. And I think I'm happy that I feel like that actually, because the reverse would probably be devastating. And I remember when I first got that simulation of what my new smile would look like, I was nervous because I couldn't picture it. But now, like, I can't picture myself with my old smile. Do you know what I mean? Like, we get used to things so quickly. And I think for me, locking my hair has really helped me get over this concept of being afraid of big choices, if that makes sense. I don't have that same attachment to things like that anymore. I feel really good about my new smile. I'm really happy that I did it. I have no regrets. I wanted to speak to that because I know that there's so many of you that probably found my journey particularly because you're looking or thinking about anyway closing your gap. So from my perspective, it was a positive thing. And again, that's not to say I have anything against gaps. My specific issue with my gap was not that I had a gap. It was the fact that my gap wasn't straight. My gap was going like that, if you guys remember, and it was widening like that. And I didn't want to have that kind of gap in my teeth. So at one point, my dentist asked me if I wanted to just straighten my teeth and leave the gap. And that was something that I actually went back and forth about for you guys that are new. But the biggest issue with that was that because my dentist felt really strongly about me needing a fixed retainer, if I had a gap, you'd be able to see the wire through my gap and it just wouldn't look nice. It was kind of a thing where I said, okay, let's just close it. And if I absolutely hate it, I'll think about my next steps then. But now that I'm here, I'm happy that I did it. So yeah, I hope that helps. And then the last question I was going to touch on was, would I recommend Invisalign to anyone? I 100% would recommend Invisalign. I had such a positive experience, guys. I don't know if everyone's journey is like this, but first of all, I don't remember experiencing pain. I had a really great dentist. I 100% recommend Clear Braces Direct and specifically Dr. Tinkler. I know like you can get different certifications or different levels of Invisalign expertise, and I think it just depends on how many cases you successfully completed, and I think he's like diamond certified or something. Beyond him being extremely knowledgeable, he's just really, really nice. The Clear Braces Direct clinic, very professional, no issues whatsoever. I'm so happy that I went down the Invisalign route, because at one point I was considering going with, you know, some other clear aligner brands, but for me, I really wanted that Invisalign name brand because it was something that I felt like I could trust. And even though it was more expensive, I felt like it was worth it. And looking back on it, I'm very, very happy that I made that decision. I would just say that if you are thinking about doing any orthodontic work, definitely do some consultations and see if you are a candidate for Invisalign. Do your research, make sure you're going to someone who has a lot of experience, make sure you're going to a company that has really good reviews, make sure you see multiple orthodontists, which is what I did. I think I saw maybe 4 or 5 dentists in total before I decided to go with Clear Braces Direct. Obviously their prices have gone up, so they might not be as competitive as they were before, but I remember at the time that they were hands down the most affordable that I could find, and I really liked the idea of not having to go in and see someone physically. I think this was during COVID, yeah. So it even made more sense at the time, the whole teledentistry thing. I cannot explain how happy I am that I did this for myself. I cannot recommend Invisalign enough. I cannot recommend my dentist enough. They actually have a referral program where you can get £50 off of your treatment if you tell them that I sent you. At this point, I don't benefit from it at all, but I did get £50 off of my retainers because that's how the referral program works. So you get £50 off and the person that recommends you gets £50 off of their retainers. So you can tell them I sent you, and then you can like refer someone else to get £50 off of your treatment, basically, because at this point I'm done paying for it. So I think that's all I have to say. But if there's anything that I'm missing, or if there are any other questions that you have, please leave them down below. If you have been following my Invisalign journey, thank you for your patience. I know it's taken a really long time for this final video to happen, but that's just real life. Sometimes things are meant to take 14 weeks and sometimes you don't end up finishing until 2 years later. That will not be your situation. Again, 90% of the blame for that falls on me, and I broke everything down in my last Invisalign update. But yeah, I'm here and I'm happy to finally be done. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this series, please give this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you want to see more videos from me. I would love to have you here. I will see you very soon in my next video. Stay blessed, stay safe, and take care. Bye.